evening, everyone. This is the Traffic and Transportation for Community Board 8. Today is May the 15th, 2025, and I will introduce the committee. My name is Debbie Allen. I'm the chair. Our co-chair, Mary Ellen Gibbs, will not be here this evening. Ingrid De Leon.
How's she doing?
And Sylvia Alexander.
So we're just waiting for just two more committee members, but we're just gonna get started for the sake of time. And I just wanna, and then we're just going to amend the agenda to go straight to the DOT presentation on City Bike Phase 3 in Riverdale. Thank you.
May I start?
Yes.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Anthony Perez. I am the Bronx Borough Commissioner for the city's Department of Transportation. I'm joined here by several of my colleagues from our Bronx office. We have our Deputy Borough Commissioner, Theresa Cruz. We're also joined by Holly Malone and Renee Luciano from our Bronx team as well. And today, leading a presentation on our City Bike update will be Kate Sundberg and Mabel Kessler. And we also have Hayden Benjamin from our Capital team, and he'll be presenting along with Didi, or he'll be here primarily for the second presentation with DDC will be leading after this one. When it comes to City Bike, just to set the table here, the city announced in December that we would have the intention to expand in parts of New York City that did not have access to City Bike or any shared mobility services. In January, we sent a letter. Sorry, let me backtrack. Those two areas in the Bronx were specifically Riverdale in CB8 and Norwood in CB7. In January, we sent a letter to the community boards and the elected officials outlining what the next steps would look like. In February, we met with or invited the elected officials and the committee chairs and the district managers of each board to again get an overview of what the next steps would look like. And what we referenced then was that we'd be coming back now in May with a proposed list of locations for City Bike stations. And that's what we're here to present on today. This will be the ongoing part of our dialogue. The installations are planned for later this year, so we have time to discuss and get your feedback and answer your questions. But again, the next step is today, which is to provide you with an overview of the locations that we'd like to propose. So with that aside, I'll pass it over to Kate and Mabel to lead in the presentation.
Sweet. Thank you, Anthony. I'm going to share my screen. Can everyone see my screen all right?
Yes.
Okay, great. So hi everyone, my name's Kate. I'm the outreach coordinator in the Bike Share and Shared Mobility Unit at Department of Transportation. And Mabel is here, who's a planner in the unit. We're going to discuss the upcoming expansion of City Bike in Bronx Community Board 8. So I'll start off by just providing a quick refresher on Bike Share and City Bike, and also talk about ridership in Bronx Community Board 8 in the existing stations, and then we'll go into the expansion plan for Riverdale. So Bike Share is a shared network of bicycles that are intended for point-to-point transportation. It helps to increase mobility, giving people another option for transportation around their neighborhood. It's especially convenient for trips that are a little too far to walk, but also too short to take a taxi or the subway, and also provides connections to transit, especially for those last mile connections. The system operates 24/7, and it's really convenient because you don't have to worry about bike storage or maintenance, because the bike share company takes care of that. And then there's a lot of positive health and environmental impacts. It's a great form of exercise and also a zero emission way to move around the city. So City Bike is New York City's bike share system. It's a public-private partnership between the Department of Transportation and Lyft. DOT is responsible for the system planning and outreach, and Lyft is responsible for all the day-to-day operations and equipment. And the program is funded through sponsorships and memberships. So the City Bike system is made up of over 2,000 stations, and users can pick up or drop off the bikes at any of those stations. The stations can be located either on the roadbed or the sidewalk, and they're primarily solar powered and wireless, as well as modular and movable. So if there's any operational issue or construction, the stations can easily be relocated. So we're currently in our 11th year of operating. The program launched in May of 2013 with 330 stations and 6,000 bikes. So you can see this in the lightest blue section on the map. The initial area was Manhattan south of 59th Street in downtown Brooklyn. And then there were 2 phases of expansion between 2015 and 2024. And you can see that in the next, the 2 middle blue colors on the map. And we're currently in another phase of expansion in 2025 through 2026. So that includes expanding further into the Bronx, Brooklyn, and Queens. So you can see those areas in the darkest blue shade on the map. And at the end of this expansion, 70% of New Yorkers will live within the service area. So over the years, there's been a lot of growth in membership and rides on city bikes, which is definitely a testament to its popularity and utility. There's over 175,000 annual members as of last year in 2024. And there's been over 260 million trips to date on City Bike. Oh, someone is drawing on the screen. I don't know how to stop that. I'll just keep going. So during the peak spring and summer and fall months, we'll see up to or more than 150,000 daily trips. And notably in 2024, the average trip was 1.5 miles and just over 9 minutes long, which speaks to the primary utility of City Bike as a connector for short point-to-point trips. So now we'll take a look at ridership in Bronx Community Board 8. So we first expanded to CB8 in November 2023. We installed 24 stations and we've seen over 53,000 trips to date. On this map, you can see this is all of the stations in Bronx CB8, and it includes all the average daily trips in 2024 per station. So you can see that the stations located along major transit hubs and commercial corridors, as well as near parks and other key destinations in the area, are some of the busiest stations, but they all are utilized throughout the neighborhood. And you can also see, so on average, there are 12 trips per station per day throughout this area. And in the peak riding months, it increases to 16 trips per station per day. So now to quickly go over pricing, there's a bunch of different options for City Bike pricing. There is an option to book single rides. You can also book a day pass or have an annual membership. So there's a lot of different options depending on what's right for you. There is also a reduced fare bike share membership option for NYCHA residents and SNAP recipients, and that is for $5 a month.
Kate, sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
The drawing on the screen came from someone else on this Zoom. It was Mani Rujaman. Can that
Oh.
person undo your?
Y- yeah, sorry, I think it
That'll
was,
stay on both
let
sides.
me,
I
don't
think
know how
anyone
to.
else could do it if it's not theirs.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened, but it'll stay on for the whole presentation if we don't remove it now.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
I
I
think
wasn't
there
sure
is
if
a-
I just saw it or if everyone did.
No, we all see it, and it's blocking some of the numbers. I don't want to be any confusion about anything.
Yeah, there is
Yeah.
eraser option, but it's not working. I'm not sure why. Okay, hold on.
Okay,
Oh, I see what you're saying.
so I guess we'll continue as is.
Click on the
Stop
annotate
sharing
button.
for a second and then restart and we.
Yeah, I can try
Uh,
doing that. I'll stop sharing and then reshare.
Thank you, sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem.
I didn't know other people could.
Technology is an amazing thing, you know.
Okay, is that better now?
Yes.
Yay.
Yeah, it
Okay,
looks
great.
good. Sorry about that.
No worries. Cool. Glad we figured that out. Cool. So now I'll just provide a brief overview on our planning and outreach process for City Bike expansion. Okay. So I'll talk through each of these steps in more detail, but just to briefly recap, this winter we did all of the technical portions of station siting and started our public outreach and engagement. And then we put together a draft plan, which we'll be presenting at today's meeting. And then the final steps and installation will take place over the next few months, and then installation will be in the fall. So the first stage of the planning process is station siting, which is the most technical part of the process. During this stage, all of our planners go out and walk every block in the service area to find all the locations that are technically viable for bike share stations. There's a bunch of considerations that go into this. We consider the local land uses, accessibility, utilities, and hydrants, to list a few. And we found that the program is the most successful when it's convenient and reliable. And in order to have that convenience and reliability, we need to have a high density of stations. So we always want people to be within no more than a 3 to 5 minute walk from a station when they're within the service area. So to achieve this high density network, we use the grid system, which you can see overlaid on this map. And we aim to have at least one station in each grid square. And then depending on the location of the station, we might have a larger station to accommodate more usage at like major transit hubs and busy commercial corridors, and then stations that are located in maybe more residential areas might be a bit smaller. So the next stage is our public outreach. So we launched an online feedback portal, which you can see a screenshot of to the right. And this is where we collected comments and suggestions from the community on places where they'd like to see a city bike station or where they would not like to see a city bike station. We also conducted in-person outreach with our street ambassadors, and they did pop-up in-person events in the expansion area to collect feedback in person. And then we also shared our feedback portal with community stakeholders, elected officials, the community board, and as well as on our social media channels. And we met with key stakeholders in the area, as well as elected officials and community boards, to answer any questions and brief them on the program and expansion plan. The next step was to identify locations for city bike stations. So we combined the feedback that we gathered through the outreach process and combined it with network considerations and on-the-ground conditions, as well as lift operational considerations to create a proposed plan. And that's what we'll be taking a look at later tonight. And then after we present this plan, we'll also share it with elected officials and post it online to get any additional feedback from the community. And then just to talk through the final steps before we take a look at the plan. Following this presentation, we'll take additional feedback over the course of the next month and then make adjustments to the plan where we're able to. And then we'll also conduct additional technical screening and coordination and follow up with an updated plan. And then in collaboration with Lyft, we'll notify any adjacent property owners or businesses prior to installing a station. And then we'll continue to adjust and monitor as as time goes on. If there's any serious operational concerns, we can always move a station if needed. So now we'll take a look at the proposed plan for City Bike expansion in Riverdale. I'll go through the plan first and kind of talk through the plan, and then we'll answer any questions that you have at the end and any questions you have about any of the presentation if you have any. So the expansion plan is going to be posted on our website, as I said before, starting tomorrow morning. So you'll be able to access it there. And any member of the community will be able to find it there as well. But I'll quickly go over the key for the map, and then we'll zoom in to different sections of the plan so we can take a closer look. We're planning to add 22 new stations to Riverdale. So these stations will either be on the street, which is depicted with a square on the map. The triangles depict off-street stations. So these are located on sidewalks or plazas. And then the square that has a dotted outline are stations located in the roadbed, but are in existing pedestrianized or daylit areas. And then we also have the grid overlaid, so you can see the planning grid. And we also have protected bike lanes shown on the map in a green line, and then conventional bike lanes shown in a blue line. And then each of the squares has a little white letter in it, and that indicates the cardinal direction for which side of the street the station is located on.
Can you zoom out? Oh, here we go.
Yeah, so we're going to zoom into each of the areas so you can take a closer look. So yeah, this is the most northern section of the expansion area. We have University Mount St. Vincent on the west side of this area, and then Van Cortlandt Park on the eastern side. As you can see, we have the stations spread out throughout the area and located along key corridors, as well as along bike lanes and other bike infrastructure. So now we'll move on to a little south of that. So we have stations sited along Van Cortlandt Park again, along that protected bike lane on Broadway. And they also provide access to the park. We also have a station near the Van Cortlandt Park 1 station to provide those last mile connections for folks getting off the train. And then we also have a station located at Manhattan University. Moving further south, we have stations sited on the eastern and western side of the Henry Hudson Park side. So on the western side, you can see we have some stations near parks. Number 16 is located near the Spoyton Doyville Library to provide connection to that amenity. And then we also have stations sited along the commercial corridors on 235th Street and Riverdale Avenue on on the western or eastern side. And then moving to the southernmost section of the expansion area, we have stations spread out throughout the area on either side of the Parkway and Riverdale Avenue. There's some located near parks and recreation areas, and then a few in residential areas as well as along commercial corridors. So those are all of the stations. We can go back and look at any ones you want to take a closer look at and answer any questions. But thanks so much for your time today, and I am going to pass it over to Mabel to conduct the Q&A, but I can keep sharing my screen and going back to any places that folks want to take a closer look at.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Sundberg, for your great presentation on that. I already have some questions in my mind that, firstly, how many parking spots will be impacted by this? I can tell you that there is already limited parking for people that drive in Riverdale. I understand that why we have city bikes, but we also have people that are seniors, people who, just based on aging in place are not able or capable of using a city bike. And their ability to be able to get from point A to point B is their cars, and they park on the street. So how many parking spots will be impacted by city bike is my first question. And then my second question is any of the bike stations that you've outlined that is involved on the sidewalks, will it also impact any businesses in terms of any sidewalk cafes?
Great. Yeah, I can take those questions. Thanks for those questions. So to start, for the parking take, so on average, a roadbed station here will be, like Kate said, there'll be a little bit smaller in this area. As we go further out to the core, we don't need stations as large as maybe you see in Manhattan. So the average station size here will be between about 35 or so feet. So that's like a little bit less than 2 parking spots. So it's not finalized yet because, right, we're just collecting feedback. And then we also need to do final station design once we have more of a final plan. So at that point, we'll be able to have a better determination. But I think if you can use the station average and then just look at the number of roadbed stations that we have and determine it that way. And then to the sidewalk question, we do work with the dining out team at DOT to do sort of conflict checks. But if there's anything that we may have missed, definitely we'll take that feedback. We also do, like Kate said, we do adjacent property notifications. So we go out and we site at every location and we survey an area to make sure it's viable. So if for whatever reason, maybe there wasn't, we missed a setup or a permit for a setup at that point, with the adjacent property notifications, we'll also get that information from the restaurant at that time, and then can coordinate from there.
Just to spin back around, out of the 22 new stations, how many of those 22 stations are on the street out of the 22?
Not in a daily spot, not in a daily spot, yeah.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
If I
6,
can't see from here.
7,
We can't make it out on the screen.
9, 10. Yeah, so I'd say about 10 or so.
So half of the, so it's almost half. So
Almost half, yes.
Less than
that's a lot.
10
Well-
stations.
Yeah.
Let's see
It's close to half. Potato.
Yeah.
So, but it's still gonna impact our community, Riverdale, and most of the people in Riverdale are people that drive. When I'm looking at a plan, there is a population of people that won't be able to use City Bike. So,
Yeah, definitely.
that's what I'm looking.
Yeah, no, definitely this is, another mode out of another option. When we came in 2023, I know there was like a big ask to sort of connect the rest of the neighborhood to the end of the train. So definitely we know that it may not be able to serve everyone, but it's definitely another option for folks who can take it and sort of, maybe mitigate sort of like parking in that way. But like I said, stations will be on sort of the shorter side here, right? It's a less dense area. We don't need to have stations that are too big. So definitely taking in mind your concerns about parking. And again, if there are any sites where you maybe have like an alternate site we could look at that doesn't take parking, we're happy to do that. Like definitely, there's still time. Like Anthony said, we're not even going to be installing any stations till November. So we have time to like review this. This is our proposal to you. And this is for us to come and like take feedback. So definitely feel free to like follow up with any specific locations that you want us to take another look at. But I will say we do the site selection with the borough office, and they also understand your concerns more than anyone probably, since they coordinate with you guys. And so definitely where we could take a sidewalk location, we did. So we also, were very, took that into consideration during the site selection.
And I understand that you reached out in social media and an online portal. Did you reach out to any of the people like at senior centers or any other, or just only on social media?
No,
So there are
we
people.
did on-street outreach. So we were, like Kate said, we were at Spite and Dival. We had folks, I think, yeah, I think there might have been another one. I can't remember if we did two there, but
We also went to the libraries in the
Oh.
area.
yeah, to the libraries to collect feedback. So to like meet people where they're at. And then also when we reached out to community stakeholders to share the portal. So I think we also sent the portal link to you folks and to others to share to their networks, just so they make sure we are covering as many people as possible.
Is there any possibility you could zoom out to the station near the 242nd Street? Can we see that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we'll move to the slide if you want to just let us know which slide to stop at.
So I think to dovetail on that, I think one of the big concerns is when we do talk about that, I mean, the 242nd Street is significant because that is how people, particularly coming from Yonkers, are connecting to get into the city. That's the transit point for the B line to get to the subway station and to MTA specifically. There are parking spaces again for our individuals who are coming from other parts of the city. And so just a little bit concerned about some of those stations and the impact that would have, because again, the parking is at a premium, particularly there.
Yeah, so that's a sidewalk station. Mhm.
That's good.
Okay.
Yeah, we need a chance to review, like, look at the actual sites to
Yeah.
really give comments on them.
Yeah.
I just want to make a observation. A few years ago, we had the car shares that took spots away. Are you staying away from that area because you've already taken parking spots away there and taking that into consideration?
Yes, definitely take that into consideration. I don't think we've are co-locating or near anywhere the car share. I'm not sure where they're located. So maybe that's something we can follow up with. But yeah, if
Sorry,
we
Mabel, I can confirm
okay.
that we're not
Okay.
anywhere near the car share stations. We try to take, inventory of all the curb uses before deciding where to put the stations.
Because those create a problem already with the parking. And they said that they were going to come back and we would have an opportunity to ask questions and possibly move them. And we never got any kind of response from DOT. So is there a plan that you would come back to us in a reasonable time? in order to check out if your locations that you designated are satisfactory to our community?
So this is Anthony again, the Borough Commissioner. We are happy to discuss car share with you. If you have specific locations where you have an issue or comment or feedback on, we can address. I mean, we can resend to the board the addresses of each of those existing locations. And again, if you want to respond saying, we want more information about this one, but there isn't a presentation to give, I would say, unless you have specific questions or concerns about a specific site.
How would I do that? Through the board?
Yep. Or you can reach out to our office too. You know, the board has our direct contact information. You can email me, apress3@dot.nyc.gov. You can call our office, send us an email on the website, 311. There are many ways to reach us.
Yeah, well, there's one on, where my doctor is, and those are usually, occupied, or not occupied, so you don't know when the car is coming back, so you can't really use that spot. So, and it's a very short street, and, there's no location where you can park. I mean, you have an appointment there and you can forget about it. So I'm just worried about the bikes being in situations like that also.
Hi, sorry, I just
But
wanted to
you're
also
looking
add
at
that we
it, you're
sent,
not
oh, go
living
ahead.
in the community. You are looking at maps and you're designating certain things without, actually working with the community in the locations of those spots.
With all due respect, ma'am, we are here to have that conversation with the community about each of the projects. I actually grew up in this community. My mother still lives there today in Community Board 8. I'm very familiar with the community, and it's not like we just looked at a map and threw a dart at it.
Sorry, I also wanted to add that we sent the locations to the updated locations back in March to Community Board 8. I'm happy to re-up that and continue any conversations about any problematic sites moving forward.
Okay.
Thank you. Is there
Yeah,
anybody
we're
else?
good.
Thank you for
have a
that feedback.
question? Yes, Farah?
Yeah, so I know you'll send us this presentation so the committee and the board can review. I wanted to ask, it's 22 stations, how many bikes is it? know?
So it's docks. So it's like the docks at each station. So the average dock count for each will be, right, bikes move in and out. So I think it's 22 docks per station. Oh wait, no, sorry, 15 docks per station is like the average size for each for the area.
Is there anybody on Zoom that have a question, the public? Anybody from the public have a question? Raise hand that maybe we don't see. I know there's 20 people on. Anybody from the public have a question for our presenters? There isn't?
I'm not seeing any hands. They can
Okay.
speak up.
All right.
have a
Ingrid,
question.
Oh, here we, who's that, Bailey?
Yes. On Giles Place, they put the dock in and you put your sign in our tree bed. The tree is missing. And we're getting a new one planted, but your pole is in the middle of the tree bed. I don't know why they would put it there.
That's Giles and what? What's the
Giles
question?
Place, in Fort Independence. It's right on the docks or right on the corner.
Okay, thank you for that. We'll take a look at that and we'll communicate back to the board to follow up on that sign. Thank you for flagging that.
is there anybody else from the public with a question? Or any committee person with a question? With that being said, thank you so much on your presentation on City Bike Phase 3 in Riverdale. And we're going to continue on the agenda. And there's a presentation from DDC Capital Project.
I just want to add, so we're gonna review all this and give you our comments. And I know you are coming back June 4th for a different presentation. but if we could also give comments, then it'd be great.
We basically live at CB8 now, so we're looking forward to coming to the next meeting too. And the next presentation is a step street too. You know, I would be remiss to not mention that I think that this is a testament to the city's investment in your community, that we're coming back with multiple safety projects, that we have expansion of City Bike, that you're about to hear a presentation about reconstructing a step street. And it's a good reason for us to come back each time.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your time and look forward to getting comments.
Thank you.
Bye.
So who's
Yeah,
gonna
good
make
evening.
co-host?
Hi, how are you doing? So we can I begin? I'm going to ask that our design consultants prepare and to set up the presentation. But while they do that, I'd like to just begin by thanking Community Board 8 for having us here tonight and having the opportunity to present a Step Street project in your community. And for the sake of time, I'm just going to run through and introduce myself and our teams that are here tonight in attendance. My name is Maria Centeno. I'm the Director of Community Outreach and Notification at the Communications and Policy Division at the Department of Design and Construction, DDC. We do a lot of projects for DOT and DEP. As our commissioner just mentioned, you know, this is a DOT project in particular. Also, colleagues of mine that are here tonight are Cynthia Muniz Rivera, also from the Communication and Policy team. Program Management, we have AJ Kumar Patel. From our design team, we have Moniru Jaman, MD. And we are also joined by our design consultants, who I'll ask them to also introduce themselves, Leon and Laura. They'll be presenting the details of the Summit Place Step Street. And as we know, living in the northwest part of the Bronx, step streets are very unique to that part of the Bronx and Upper Manhattan. So we can't design these particular step streets fast enough. We have a lot of step streets that have been built, many of them many years ago, decades ago. Without any further delay, I want to turn it over to Leon and Laura. Thank you. From Dewberry, that's the company who's designing this project. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Leon Ostrovsky. Thank you, Maria, for the introduction. As Maria mentioned, the project sponsor agency is New York City Department of Transportation, and the project is being executed by New York City Department of Design and Construction. We are engineers, Dewberry engineers supporting DDC on this project. Today we will walk you through our design concept. The project is currently in the preliminary design, so we want to update you on the progress and show you what project is look like. The Summit Place Step Street is located in Kingston Bridge neighborhood of the Bronx. It's a link. It's a street links the Jerome Park area to neighborhood to Broadway, which is a transportation hub, survey community where.
So Leon, are you going to put the presentation on the screen? Because I don't see it. I don't know if anybody else
I'm
does.
sorry, Laura.
I'll share the presentation. Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you. I just want to make sure
thank you
we're
for
all on the
reminding
same
my
page.
apologies.
No problem. No problem. That's what we're here for. Teamwork.
Right.
Okay, let me share. Okay, just confirming everyone can see my screen.
Yeah, you can enlarge it.
Yeah, can you put it in presentation mode, please? Okay, great.
Okay.
Thanks.
Let me see. In Blueview, I don't know if I can put it into
It's not.
presentation
Yeah,
mode, but
just remove index slide on the
Yep,
left.
yeah.
On the left and
There we go.
make your full screen.
Thank you.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, Leon, sorry, you may continue.
Okay, no worries. So if you can just move to the project map, so
Yep.
just giving the just high level overview of the project area. As I mentioned, the project is located in Kingston Bridge, neighborhood of the Bronx, and the Summit Street, Step Street is serving a community by connecting Jerome Park area to the Broadway, which is a transportation hub, a major transportation hub, a thoroughfare that also carries an MTA, New York City Transit 1 train. You can move to the next slide. So this illustrates the project area, project about 300 feet long, located between Barley Avenue and Heath Street. This little bit outdated picture, we see the building on the left has been constructed already. So the project has some challenges. The goal of the project is to reconstruct the deteriorated street, and not only reconstructing it, but also providing me accessibility to all social group of residents living in this area and that have mobility disability. So also this was one of the major objectives of this project. So we will present here our design solution, how we can accommodate in that constrained space with around 25 feet between, from building line to building line, accommodate both mode of on the wheelchair mode and the pedestrians on foot. With that, I will hand it over to Laura, so she will walk you through presentation in more details of our design concept here.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Leon. So my name is Laura Spadaccini. I'm a civil engineer with Dewberry Engineers as well. Okay, so moving on to the next. So here are a series of existing photos of the Step Street you'll see. So as Leon had mentioned, it's between Heath Avenue and Bailey Avenue. So the first photo here you're seeing is Heath Avenue facing down to the Step Street. So as you'll see, there is deterioration of the Step Street due to actually settlement of the Step Street just over time. And so as a result of that, you'll see cracking, stairs are uneven, we're creating a tripping hazard, risers are out of alignment, some issues there. In the top right of your screen where you see the middle of the Step Street facing east, at the top, one of the guide rail pieces is actually missing to prevent someone from falling down into the sloped kind of vegetative area there, as you'll see. Moving on to the next. Some additional photos. So in the middle of the Step Street, there's a series of landings. You can see here cracking, deterioration, erosion, and then photo 4, Bailey Avenue facing east. This is adjacent to that newly constructed building that we saw as the area of redevelopment in that first photo. So that has been constructed here. The right-of-way limits actually abut the edge of this building and then the edge of the building that has the graffiti mark on it. And you can see in the photo, many people do use this Step Street as the main thoroughfare. So next photo here, just Bailey Avenue facing east, just a different view, just showing the deterioration of the Step Street again, and then far side just showing kind of just the overall area within the Step Street, or within the buildings there. So scope of work. So as Leon pointed out, there's a couple of key points that we're really working to address through this project. One of the main is to maximize accessibility of the Step Street. As you can see now, currently only stairs. So, and we'll show you later the pedestrian route that people would currently have to take to get from Heath Avenue down to Bailey. Additionally, we're also looking to improve or increase public spaces, the overall functionality of the Step Street, and some streetscape amenities to provide a pleasing aesthetic through the area there. In sort of more detail of that, so providing universal accessibility for the ADA ramps, installing a bicycle channel adjacent to the stairs, as well as stair railings, providing new light poles along the way for safety concerns, providing a new drainage system. So when I show you the plan view, you'll see that the design we're creating to be able to drain the system, so you're not just going to have water pooling or running down the ramp. Which will be connected through the existing sewer system on Bailey Avenue. Additionally, the plantings, greenery, removing any existing trees in the step street to provide the new structure, and then upgrading pedestrian ramps at the intersection of Summit Place and Heath Avenue, so that as those with disabilities come off the step street, that they're able to then cross the street safely. Okay. So this is just a plan view of the proposed option. So through the process of the schematic design, we proposed a couple of different alternatives, taking into account some of these key ideas, components for each of them, and through discussions with DDC, City DOT, we landed on this hybrid option is what we're calling it, because it takes into account both the stair and ramp. So starting at Heath Avenue, just kind of working our way, I touched upon a couple of things, but for the stairs, there'll be a bike channel that will allow ease of moving through the step street, and pedestrians can still use the stairs, that there won't be a blockage with those potentially in wheelchairs and bikes trying to pass each other. As you can see, also there's shared landing areas. So following compliant ADA standards, as well as stairs, providing standard stairs, then going through and just maintaining ADA design guidelines. Then to the south near Bailey Avenue, there's a tree that you can see there. So that'll be like a landscape area, and we'll discuss that a little bit further on. The one element here that you'll see is on Bailey Avenue, the ramp will terminate on the sidewalk, and we propose to design so that you would still have a 5-foot access to building 3128. You can still reach the entrance without issue, and also provide space for the pedestrian access route to the outside. So providing a minimum of 7 feet walkway for those to still travel through or along Bailey Avenue on the sidewalk to reach the businesses. Okay, and then this here is a removal plan. So the areas that are shaded in red would be areas of sidewalk reconstruction. So due to the construction of the new step street, there'll probably be some impacts to the sidewalk, so providing updated sidewalk there. Along Bailey Avenue, you'll see the red tree. So the tree and tree pit will need to be removed to be able to provide the compliant pedestrian access route here. And hopefully we'll be able to add a tree, at least one tree within that landscaping area through the step street. Additionally, there's a couple of existing utilities that potentially need to be reset, such as electric manholes, both on Bailey Avenue and Heath Avenue, a gas valve. And then along Heath Avenue, there's an existing fire alarm post, which would need to be relocated because it's shown right in the center of the ramp. Okay, so and then here, so basically we identified going through 2 types of conflicts, a visual conflict and a spatial conflict. So visual conflicts are shown in yellow, and basically what that would be is with the new construction, you'll either see potentially people walking down the stairs, or you might see the railing on top of the retaining wall. So your viewpoint will be slightly different than your current condition. So in that case, building 3128, the first level shaded in yellow there, potentially you'll see pedestrians walking down, should not necessarily see railing and things, but that is just one point there. And then at the building 3095, again on that first floor, in that case you might actually see the railing through your window, and then pedestrians coming down the stairs and the ramp. Conversely, the areas that are shaded in red as being spatial conflicts, so to point out, so the area of the step street at Bailey Avenue, the right-of-way actually extends basically to the footprint of either building, whereas to the north at Heath Avenue, you actually have a 3-foot space between 3 or 4 foot space between the proposed step street and that 3095 building. So while there might be spatial conflicts in terms of you're looking out directly onto the retaining wall for the structure, there is separation. It's not going to be like directly abutting it. So that's for the 2 buildings if you were looking north along the step street, and then the southern side, the other 2 buildings. So 3114 is actually a convenience store, 1-story convenience store. So Impacts would include spatial impacts. There are 2 exhaust vents that are currently located on the side of the building that would need to be relocated due to the elevated structure. You wouldn't have enough headroom clearance, so we'll have to work to provide an alternate solution for where those vents could go. Additionally, there is an existing egress behind the 3114 convenience store, which would also be obstructed due to the proposed retaining walls. Moving along to 3089, which is a residential building. There is a fence along the step street. It's behind the railing area, and that will be partially obstructed due to the proposed retaining wall and railings that will be installed, as well as the ground floor window that would be partially obstructed. Again, you might be seeing railing, people walking by. And now we have a series of renderings. So just to give you more of a 3D view, seeing plan view versus profile. So this will kind of touch on all of the elements that we've discussed, but you can see it just kind of in a different viewpoint here. So I'll move along through the photos and just point out some things that maybe we had discussed. So as you can see, you'll see both like the ramp and the stairs here. ADA landings will be updated and access will be maintained to all adjacent properties at all time during construction and after construction. So no conflicts there. You can see the ramps and the landing areas as well as the stairs, and the bike channel is shown in yellow in the picture here. This is a view from Bailey Avenue, so you can see the ramp area that terminates within the Bailey Avenue area. You'll see that planted area that we discussed, so hopefully the opportunity to plant new trees in that area and other vegetation. Access will still be maintained to that 21 building there, as well as to the convenience store. This is directly in the step street, so you can see the stair option, these shared landing areas that were discussed. Due to the requirements to be able to provide ADA compliant ramps throughout and to touch down based on the elevation differential, there will be some constricted sight lines just due to the nature of needing to provide retaining walls and railings for safety purposes. But that's just a different view. The bike channel, again, you can see there. Okay, just a different view again of just the vegetative area. You'll see lights all throughout the site that would be mounted to the top of the retaining wall area near the railings. And then this here is just to show you kind of a view from like the existing condition, and then we have the rendering just to show you sort of back to back what it would look like. So current condition here, and then proposed condition, again showing this area terminating along the Bailey Avenue sidewalk. So maintaining that 5-foot clearance, maintaining the appropriate ADA ramp space, 5 feet minimum, but 7 feet end to end of retaining wall, and then also providing the approximately 7-foot space between the edge of the proposed structure to the edge of the curb. And then again, just another viewpoint on Bailey Avenue, the existing condition, and then showing the proposed condition, that approximately 7-foot sidewalk area for pedestrian, and then showing the ramp extending into the sidewalk, but no constraints to the entrance to the 3114 Bailey Avenue. And then here, these are just some site materials and planting. So these are just some typical finishes that have been used on other projects. Just showing you what a guardrail with a handrail would look like, light posts, some options for landscaping and plantings, and then concrete that would be utilized for the retaining walls, sidewalks, etc. So just to give a sense of what you might see. And then maintenance and protection of traffic. So we're proposing to close the step street for construction due to the limited space, 25-foot right-of-way space to perform the work. We believe it makes sense to close the step street during construction, and then an alternate pedestrian route will be provided. And this will be the same route that pedestrians who currently cannot use the step street would take anyway. And I'll show you a diagram of that. Building access during construction will be maintained at all times. We're saying that there's approximately 3 parking spaces that will be impacted on Heath Avenue and 3 on Bailey Avenue during construction. Now there are signs posted on Heath Avenue going southbound, so directly adjacent to the step street. There's currently no parking signs. You can't park on that side anyway. And I have a photo on the next screen where I'll show you the reason why we believe we might need to take a couple of parking spaces on the other side of the street if traffic should need to be shifted temporarily. And then along Bailey Avenue, a couple of spaces just for potential equipment or to construct the tie-in for utilities along Bailey Avenue on the main line there. And construction staging we provided to mitigate impact to local traffic. So definitely working with the community to make sure that everything is running smoothly. Just a picture to show you. So the photo on the right is on Heath Avenue. So as you can see, there are some cars. I'm not sure if there's like a vehicle parked along Heath Avenue, maybe where it shouldn't be, but some cars are now crossing the line. So may need to take a couple of spots to be able to provide like two-way traffic through this area potentially, may not need to. And then the 3 spots here on Bailey, there is a sign that limits parking. I think it was from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., something like that. So there are times when you can't park there anyway. So this would have been taken at a different time of day, so it might not be an issue during construction hours. And then this is the walking distance diagram. So I think I mentioned a few times. So the proposed walking route, if you were to walk from Heath down to Bailey using the new proposed ramp system we're showing, would take you approximately 2.8 minutes. And then the alternative pedestrian detour, which is the route that pedestrians would need to take who cannot currently use the step street, is about 7.6 minutes to get to Bailey from Heath or vice versa. Community outreach, I don't know if Maria, if you'd like to speak on that.
Sure, no problem. So the Office of Community Outreach and Notification, we definitely engage the community, especially during construction, as far as key stakeholders, boards, community boards, local businesses. And we also have on the ground for day-to-day communication and coordination the community construction liaison, which will be assigned to this project once construction begins. Next slide. And, there are, their role basically is to be the point of contact for the community during construction. If there are any inquiries, complaints, concerns, they try to be, try to address those proactively. But they are also there to keep the community informed of the general project information as well as the related impacts during, during construction. And they will, be part of the district service cabinet meeting and continue to update the community board throughout the course of the project. Next. And just as far as keeping the community informed, we do have many different tools in the toolbox that we use. And these are just some of the more frequent outreach materials that you will see during the course of the project. Yeah, and if you have any questions on that, we're available. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Maria. And then just finally, a couple of stats on the project. So estimated project cost is about 12.3 million. Design is projected to be completed by the second quarter of 2026. And then construction of the step street would start the first quarter of 2027. We're estimating 30 months duration for the project. So it would be completed in the fourth quarter of 2029. And that is everything. So thank you so much for your time. And any questions, please let us know. Thank you.
Does anybody from the committee have a question?
So obviously step streets were designed well before we ever thought about ADA compliance. And so, I mean, this is certainly, I think, a wonderful idea. Out of curiosity, how many other projects of this nature have been already implemented to this sort of redesign to date, or is this the first?
I think we have a couple of them, right? I know that we have a couple of other projects, step streets, and
we haven't constructed any yet. We do have a few. We do have a couple in design.
Yes.
Unfortunately, not every location we can we can't accommodate this type of design, but we are trying everything in the toolkit to see to achieve this.
I think you did an excellent job in trying to achieve a balance between stairs and ADA ramps, and I found it. So congratulations on that.
So this is a way, almost like a, arguably contingent proof of concept. And then the related question, just, do you have numbers on how many people are unable to, for whatever reason, use the current step streets, the people who use that diversion?
I don't know. Do we have like a level of service?
Well, we did a traffic study to answer the question. As you know, the current condition is a step, so our traffic study indicated we're total maybe just trying to remember top of my head, it's about 200 users per peak hour. We didn't observe ADA users during that time because simply the steps aren't accessible. So no wonder we didn't see any there because it's people taking different route. But this is but what we can tell the step street is heavily traveled with pedestrians, specifically in the morning and evening commute time, rush hours.
Any other questions? Sarah,
Sorry, and if the committee would like to speak first, please go ahead.
anybody else from the committee? I mean, I have just a generalized question. So, from my understanding, this concept has never really been implemented fully. With this
That
bike,
we-
with the bike lane and a ramp and with the steps.
So bike lanes, we have that in previous designs. I'm not sure if we actually finished the construction on one of the, like you're talking about the bike rail. So that is something that can be easily incorporated. It has been in previous designs. I just can't recall if we actually completed a step street that has it, but that is something you will see more often in step street designs going forward. And as Hayden had mentioned before, we have a few projects that are in the design phase right now where we're trying to incorporate ADA accessibility, two-step ramps that never existed before, where possible. So it's not always going to be the case where, we can actually have a step street with ADA accessibility. So where possible, we will definitely look at that possibility.
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay.
Anybody else? Yes.
I have a few questions. I noticed, this is has a lot of trees and greenery along this step street, but in your renditions, I only see one spot at the end with a tree in it. How many trees are you removing for this project?
We're removing approximately five trees along the step street, and then one additional on Bailey Avenue.
Good. And where you said you're gonna put new trees or new greenery in, where exactly are you putting that?
Sure.
It looks
So
like it's all cement now.
Yeah, so looking at the rendering here, so just basically due to the constraints and to be able to provide compliant ramps, there isn't an opportunity to provide greenery anywhere else along the corridor. The main area here will be this planted area is where we'll have the opportunity to. So kind of going back to those key points and objectives, trying to find a balance to, meet new accessibility needs, try to provide a planted areas and, aesthetics of the area, but just due to the limited space, we're not able to provide more areas than what we're showing here.
Yeah, during the final design, we will work with Department of Parks and Recreation to find places in the vicinity to plant trees to compensate the trees we remove with new trees in the area.
So that means it'll probably just go on the city street instead, because it doesn't look like you have any area to put any green
Right.
space. Wow. It's a shame because we do like to have green space, beautification in that area, which is highly cement driven. And I think also, do the bikes ride up and down that ramp or they have to walk?
So there's a bike channel here. So let me see. I think we had a photo or like a rendering of someone like using it. I was trying to see to be able to show an example of it. So for example, like just seeing like the person here, it's basically like a notched area where the bike tire can fit into like the channel here and you can walk it up through that area. So I mean, someone could certainly take the ramp, but they have the option of taking the stairs and using that channelized, like sort of notched out area.
Yeah, because I would think it would be more dangerous if bikers are trying to ride a bike on the zigzaggy area with all the pedestrians.
Right.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Being that the construction is supposed to take 30 months, which is a long time, is the Step Street going to at any time be totally unusable? And where would they be detoured to?
Leanne, do you want to take that or do you want me to?
Yeah, you can, if you can navigate to a detour, you're talking about the
Yep.
detour,
Yep.
right? So,
Yep.
so there is a detour available that, with currently in use. So we, so the total length of detour is, what, 1,600
feet, yes.
1,600 feet. So we estimated if at a low speed person with disabilities moves around, it will take how many minutes?
It says 7.6 minutes.
Yeah, 7 minutes detour
I'm missing
at a low
minutes,
pace,
so.
at a low speed.
But to answer your other question, the plan is to fully close the Step Street during construction, just from a safety perspective, since there isn't a lot of room, and it provides an opportunity for the contractor to potentially put their staging area off the sidewalk completely. But this is again very preliminary design, so certainly things can be discussed further.
So that means also there will be 6 parking spots not used for 30 months also.
Well,
no, that's not necessarily the case. Those were just potential spots taken during different portions of construction, so it's not necessarily for the 30 months.
So we expect that the contractor will stage his equipment within the limits of a Step Street reconstruction without spilling over into the streets, but there will be time. So this, what you saw is a conservative, it's a conservative illustration of what could potentially happen when contractor will be forced to stage outside of a construction area as he progresses the construction.
So again, we can come back, we can come to the community board when we're in the construction phase and we've had an opportunity to talk to the contractor about his means and methods and what he plans to do and how he wants to mobilize on the site. But yeah, potentially there will be some street parking that the contractor will likely use. He will probably have heavy, machinery, right, that he'll have to park and keep, somewhere close by at the site. And again, if he can, put a lot of materials in the Step Street itself, but he still has to demo it, right? He still has to demo, all of that. And so there's going to be containers and he'll have to load, the debris in there. So at some point, yes, there will be parking loss on the street, but perhaps not for the full 30 months. But yes, there's that potential that there will be parking loss, at least up to about 6 spaces. But again, we'll come back once we speak with the contractor and we have a better idea of what that really will look like realistically. Okay? Thank you.
Is there anybody in the public online, anybody with their hands up that have a question?
Farrah,
Yes.
is that on 231?
Like, just by
Yes.
2:30.
Where we were supposed to get the
Where-
property to the office.
There's somebody, there's somebody with a question?
Yes, where
Yeah.
they're going to be doing the construction on Summit Place, that's the only place there's a crosswalk between, I'm not sure if that's where the bottom of the hill is and Fort Independence. That's a really long street, and that's the only area where there's a crosswalk right there. So if a person was trying to get across to the bus, they may have a problem if the construction is taking up the crosswalk. And also, when you get down to the bottom of the hill, their sidewalk is horrible. I don't walk those stairs because I'm afraid of them, of tumbling down them. So I walk down Heath Avenue, and the sidewalks are horrible, and there's a problem of people parking their cars on the sidewalk. So there's going to be a problem with people who have disabilities going up and down Heath Avenue.
We'll make a note of that. I think sidewalks in the perimeter of where the step street's going to be is definitely part of the project, right? We're going to have much better sidewalks and so but that's not going to happen right away. That usually happens towards the end of the project when we're ready to do, more of the finishing work. But that will definitely, the sidewalk conditions will definitely be addressed as part of this project.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I can't remember. This is the whole Step Street, right? There's not a second part to this Step Street, like to Kingsbridge Terrace. This is the whole thing, right? I'm trying to remember if there were 3 parts to it. It's just 2, right? It's Heath to Bailey and nothing from there. Okay, I'm sorry. I just wanted to clarify. We missed about 8 minutes of your presentation because we lost our connection here. So I don't know
well,
if you've been listening or not.
we do have this presentation available on the DDC website. It's there now. So, feel free to, take a
Can you
closer look.
also-
Any additional questions?
Can you also send it to the board so we have it for our website also?
Sure.
Thank you. Okay, there's no other.
Is there a plan to, does everyone in the neighborhood know that this is going to take place? People who live in the area? Is there an outreach?
So, before the project begins, we'll have I think I might have mentioned, we'll have a community outreach component to this project. We'll have a dedicated community construction liaison. One of the first things that they do is they canvass the area. They make sure that they know who they need to communicate the project to. We send out in advance prior to any work. We announce the project. Like I said, we'll come back during construction once we have more information, and we have an opportunity to talk to the contractor and get a sense of his means and methods and, where and how he plans to mobilize, right? We'll have some additional information then, prior to us starting the actual project. And we hope that, we'll have that person there, and they're going to go door to door. They're going to, their presence is going to be known, and they will be the point of contact for anything regarding the project. So yes, they're needing to do outreach. Yes.
Are there any other questions? With that being said, thank you so much for your presentation. We really appreciate you upgrading the Step Street. It's an important part of the community for people to have access, and also helping those with disabilities to be able to also have the opportunity to have their distance shortened from what it is now. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you for
Thank
having us.
you.
Thank you so much.
So we're gonna move along on our agenda, and, I need someone to make a motion to accept the minutes.
Motion to accept the minutes.
Second person. Any abstentions on the minutes?
Did you want discussion first?
Any discussion on the minutes? Seeing that there's none. Let's vote.
There's no abstentions?
Nope.
No opposition?
Nope.
So it is approved.
It's approved.
It looked nice though.
All right, so let's go to dining out, New York City Sidewalk Cafe applications. Yay. So I'm gonna go out of order, because I believe Mary Ann, you were here.
Yeah. Whatever.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
we were here first,
yeah. Unless you wanna be last.
I was saying that we were, yeah, that's great.
Since you're here and you've been here for a while, so we're gonna go to Mary Ann's application first.
Now, let me, first get this on the screen if you can. Sorry, give me a second, I'm just trying to get my.
Thank you for your patience. I know this is doing.
We're doing Mary Ann.
It was good to see that.
Yes, I see what happens.
Yeah.
Which one? Oh,
That's
this
Joe
is Joe
Berger.
Burger.
That's Blackstone.
Yucca. Of course it's the last.
Was it Blackstone before?
Yeah, he's coming, or on Zoom, he said.
Oh,
Yeah.
he was in Greece last time.
Yes.
Is that Mary Ann?
That's us.
Yeah, we're gonna go to Zoom. And we'll share if I can. Okay.
How's business?
It's good.
Good.
It's good. Yes.
It's how like, any other visits.
So does anybody on the committee have a question for Mary Ann Pizza Cafe application?
Do you want to explain how many, the setup that it's gonna be for your?
There's sidewalk, so there's gonna be at most 3, maybe 4 tables if I were to be able to fit a 4th one. Unfortunately, the city aimed to do make this sidewalk ADA compliant, so our sidewalk completely dips on 261st Street. You know, that sidewalk right there, at the corner of where that barricade would be. So it's just a straight dip. It's actually very dangerous, like water pools there when it rains a lot. So I don't think we'll be able to do more than 3 tables, so
3 tables.
that's what we had there. So you can see in the center is the door. We have to be very close to the door to make sure that food doesn't fall off the table.
And you're not blocking any fire hydrants?
No. So the fire hydrant, it'd be on 261st, but it's farther down, down the block.
Yeah, I sent you pictures
Yeah.
from this morning of the actual location. It's in the back.
And pedestrians are gonna be able to walk.
Yeah.
This is gonna be on the sidewalk, right?
Yes.
And you only have 3 tables, or that?
We're hoping to get 4, but we think realistically we'll probably
For now.
only get 3, yeah.
And the 4th one would just go
Just there, yeah.
Okay.
I see you have tiles on the floor.
Yeah.
Which kind of great, you just hold it down.
Yeah, no, it's good, very nice.
I was gonna come.
I thought you were doing inside the shop, yeah.
Have you ever had anything here before? Or?
No,
No.
we just had, so before they did the sidewalk for, this place. what
Yeah,
is it?
before the old legislation timed out, we had tables and chairs there.
Yeah,
But then
but it
as,
was-
up until
But now
last
that the sign-
March, I think it was, or
Uh-huh.
September, whatever it was, this year anyway. We had three or four small tables.
Okay. All right, any other questions for? Marianne's Pizza Cafe? No? There are those? With the form.
Ingrid,
Yeah.
was there a restaurant there before you moved in?
Yeah,
Because I'm trying to picture it.
and it was Nona's
Nona's.
Pizza. They were there, they opened in 2010.
Is that on the corner?
Right on the corner.
Right next to the funeral home.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it won't get in the way with the mailbox there.
And I think, and it's got a little bit of an insight, because I think the funeral home uses a, they have their own.
Yeah, they
green-
have
They have their own brewery
yeah,
that,
they have their own
Yeah.
hedging.
they have their hedge, that
Shrubbery.
kind of projects out anyway.
I'm sorry, we were right in the middle. We had a
Okay.
first and a second,
Second.
so we're ready to
Yeah.
vote. Okay. Okay, then with that being said, is there any other questions for any abstentions? Anybody opposed to this applicant? So it's unanimous. We approve this applicant, Marianne Pizza Cafe, and we will be presenting our recommendation to the full board at their next board meeting in June.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And then you'll hear from the office. Thank you very much. Thank
It's
you.
great.
You're welcome to stay, or you can,
Two very young kids who are probably tearing the house apart in the minute.
Yes.
Thank you very much, guys, and have a great night.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.
Take care.
All down easy on the-
I'll be there, guys.
Yeah.
That's why.
Thank you.
Great, congratulations.
Thank you.
and your businesses?
Yo, we're good.
Yo Burger.
There you go.
Okay, so we have Yo Burger here.
Alright, let's
Hold on a second.
go on to Yo
On
Burger.
Yo Burger, we kept the existing blueprints since we had them for 12 years since we're. There we are. Although we have less benches, it says here we have 14, but we use less. It was the
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How's business?
good, you know, now it gets better. In August dies out, September comes back, but it has its own.
So we're looking at your photo. Also looking at. Tell us a little bit about your design.
Yeah, we were lucky we have a wide sidewalk there.
So how many tables are you gonna have?
Over there, we have only 5 benches. Because, I mean, it wasn't necessary for the concept of the business to have more. The beginning, we put chairs there, and then we had a problem with stealing them, so. We didn't want to make it a big deal then. No, not the benches, the chairs. We put the chairs. So now we just put those, the bigger
So
the.
those are actual benches, gonna be benches.
What is
Yes.
this, additional
Okay, so the
table?
little circles are the where people are
That's what I
gonna
wanna
sit.
ask.
Correct.
Okay.
So you're saying you're gonna have 5
I-
table bench?
We do have
Setups.
5 now, we don't have more than, it's more here as a design. When we applied with the architect and the building consumers affair at the time. they said that you could put more based on your square footage. But if you put less, shouldn't be any problem, as long as you have a handicap access.
Right.
So, and then we put less if it was necessary for more, but it's not necessary, so.
So you're gonna have how many?
How many do we have there now? We have 5 benches. I think 30 people there. This is 52, but we put less.
So that's what I'm saying, you're gonna have 5 table setups or?
We do have five like benches.
Well, they've had it.
I know,
We have
but
it-
in the image, there's 7 here.
Yes, but
So
we
I'm
put,
asking, what is he gonna have?
but we're gonna have the same as we had
Same as
it
we
this
had.
year. There's no change.
That's all.
Yeah, we don't wanna,
Okay.
it's been working that way, simple.
Yeah.
It's more space for when the kids come play around and all this, so.
Are you blocking a fire hydrant?
No,
And where do you store your garbage cans?
inside, we don't have any outside, inside the stores, so they just going right up to the door, you see.
And I can see there's enough room for the pedestrians.
Yes, it's a lot.
Do you have planters on one side or something? There's not somewhere else.
We,
I don't think they have planters.
No?
I
no.
think that was their, it's you're bordering, the Toba.
Oh, yes, and, yeah.
And they have the planters on it.
The Mexicans
Yes.
have planters.
Oh, yeah, okay.
We do have those little plants, little trees.
Yeah.
They look like Salvatore's or we
But
try
it's
to,
inside of the.
inside, yes.
Yeah, but they're not in the way of anybody.
No, no.
And anything blocking the egress going in and out of the front of your business?
No, no, it's completely open, it's good. That's why we were lucky having that big sidewalk in front.
You've been there for a long time.
13 years.
Wow. I did not know.
I love your ice cream.
You know, it's froyo.
It's yogurt, right?
It's,
No, but it's delicious.
yes, it's the one, people stay in line in Bloomingdale's. Like, they come from all over the world, like line for coffee, flavor and peanut butter. But it's the same company that supplies.
Oh,
it.
really?
Yes.
I
But we,
didn't know that.
yeah, we cannot use it because they can sue us if we say it's the same.
Yeah, yeah.
So I just have 2 more questions.
Yes.
Are you near a bus stop?
No,
Okay, and any bike racks would be impacted, but.
yeah, we
Bike
don't have
racks.
any.
Not yet.
Not yet,
Not
this
yet.
one.
Even for bike racks, because we have 2 Salvatores next to it, we have 11, you see the space? We have almost 13 feet from where the line is. You see 11.5 feet is a bike rack there, or no, it's a hydrant.
Yeah.
So it's a hydrant, so we still have 2 more feet, which is like 14 feet. It's plenty, even for bike racks, they have plenty of access there.
I have no questions. Anybody on the committee have any questions?
And I've had no issues navigating that area and,
Thank you, guys.
Is there a motion?
motion to accept their, proposal first read.
So is it unanimous is for
Yes.
approval? Okay.
Yes, approval, unanimous for approval for Yo Burger with their application. And, we will present this to the full board in June.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so.
Yeah, we just kept this for 12 years, it's the same blueprint.
We have, another applicant online.
I see, is that you from Anvil Bot?
Yes, hi.
Hi,
No.
thank you so much.
Also, Michael Kelly representing them. If I could do a little presentation.
Oh, absolutely, Mr. Kelly.
Great.
We've been open and operating at a location for 19 years. We had a sidewalk cafe there from 2006 until COVID. During COVID, we did have sidewalk seating
Yeah.
and a roadway structure,
Okay.
but we'll only have sidewalk cafe now. We applied with DOT for 13 tables, 26 seats maximum, but we may keep our picnic tables, which would be less. We're using the same dimensions as before. 7 feet of a 15-foot sidewalk, leaving 15 feet. The length of the cafe is 39 feet. We'll have a 3-foot wait service aisle for handicapped access. There is an electrical pole at the corner of the cafe, and we left the required 8 feet from that. There are no fire hydrants, bike racks, or other obstructions besides that wooden electric pole.
Well, maybe the photo I have is not up to date.
I gave you photos from this morning, if you,
Cause this one looks like there's a fire hydrant.
hold on. Here. No, I don't think I see a fire hydrant. You're looking at it?
Yeah, no, maybe it's,
Where do you see the fire hydrant? Oh, what is that?
yeah,
No, but that's. It's a corn.
It's, yeah,
is it cone?
yeah.
Yes.
Cause there's a garbage, can, and then adjacent looks like there's a.
But that's the roadway cafe, right?
Alright.
We're only talking about the sidewalk, right?
We're talking about the sidewalk.
Yeah, this was their COVID, the color pictures were their COVID roadway, street cafe.
So are you not doing, a roadway cafe, just
No.
sidewalks?
No,
Okay.
I think we're just gonna go for the sidewalk.
Okay, so you're not doing a
They're
roadway.
taking it down?
It is
No, we took it down already,
That was a marvel of engineering.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
I love
really a marvel engineering with the lighting, the seating, and even accounting for the angle of the grade of the street. It was
I know.
kind of sad to see it go. It's kind of impressive.
So I have the same question. How many tables are you gonna have at this?
Well, we applied for 13 tables and 26 seats. That would technically fit within the boundaries that we're restricted to. But during COVID, we had the picnic tables, and we would go with either one. If we kept the picnic tables, we'd have 4 picnic tables with 20 seats. If we did the tables and chairs, we'd have 13 and 26 seats. But they would all be within that square footage that we're applying for. It's more of trying to get a consensus from our clients as to whether they like the picnic tables more or the chairs.
Yeah, exactly.
So given that a lot of these are essentially 2-person seats, I'm imagining that there would be a lot of reconfiguring for different party sizes.
Well, we have, on one end, we have 2 tables together where 4 people could sit. And on the other corner, we have basically 3 tables there where 6 people could sit. And the other ones are deuces.
So you're not doing street?
No,
This is all.
no.
Okay, cause the
No
photos you
street.
submitted were street, hot street on it.
That's why I took pictures.
Alright. Does anybody else have any questions? For On View Bowl Shape Cafe? With that being said. So a motion? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Second?
Can I make a friendly amendment to that?
Sure.
On the contingent that their plans match the blueprints and not their pictures, that it is in fact strictly for the sidewalk component, whether it be park benches versus small tables, but that just noting that the images do not in fact match the proposal.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's all we're doing. We're just doing the sidewalk. We're not doing we're not doing street dining at all. The street is too narrow for us to do it. And then, we'd have to put it up and then we'd have to take it down. So it'd end up being a lot more trouble trying to organize something than just the benches or the seats are easier.
We're gonna proceed, so we have a first, we have a second with the addition of matching the photos for what they are actually their application states. Any other questions? Any abstentions? Anybody opposes? Approved. So Anvil Borche has been.
Yeah, and Bill Bot.
Has
Thank
been
you.
approved. And we will present your application to the full board in June.
Okay, thank you so much, ladies. Thank you.
And you'll hear from the office after that in June.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Is Blackstone here?
Right, I spoke to him today. He said he was doing.
Blackstone or Yucca, they're right next door.
Yuka said they would join. Let me see here. Let me just.
Blackstone had, tables in front of the restaurant and also by the street. Not in the street, but at the curb. I don't see that in the plan.
What's that? For the Blackstone, what do you?
We only have the tables, near the restaurant.
Correct.
That's all they're gonna have?
We already, commented on their roadside application at a different meeting.
Oh, that's different.
They were
meeting. That's
approved for
different.
that.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
so
see,
this
I
is
see.
only for sidewalk
I
today.
see. Well, the other one is also on the sidewalk, it's not in the street.
Which one?
Blackstone, well, originally, they were both
They were
sidewalk on the
both,
street.
yeah, they were on.
They were in the street?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
I think they
I'm not
had,
remembering.
and I think also Seaver had, I think that there were like 2 or 3 of those restaurants that had street, during the
Take
pandemic.
it down.
But they're all down now.
Are they planning on coming, either owners?
I don't have, if you give me 1 second.
Okay.
I'm gonna check something.
It showed 10 tables. I don't think their, restaurant has that much space. Oh, this is the wrong one. This is, K Cafe, why is that in here? Oh, that's the Yucca. I got them mixed up. There's 6.
I didn't get a response, but you can discuss the applications and, you can vote on them. And if you have questions, we can also follow up with them if you wanna approve or deny based on any type of contingency.
We see here. So let's all just review Blackstone Bar and Grill application right now. They're requesting Bronx Community Board approval for 12 by 12 roadside cafe. The resolution attached in an email. Okay, they've done that. So now we're looking for sidewalk.
pictures this morning, all the chairs were folded up, so we couldn't really see.
But I think traditionally they.
Full setup, yeah.
Traditionally, they do keep within, where the, where those barriers are. I think they just move the, they collapse the table and put them, but that space is usually pretty,
And it appears in the photo taken today, there's no issues with fire hydrants and or garbage cans impacting pedestrians and or people exiting their cars. By looking at the picture taken today, there's no evidence of the front of the door being blocked, so there's egress in and out.
Yeah, and in his picture, he shows that the door, there'll be nothing in front of the door too, on the plans.
And it looks by their picture, they'll have a total of 1, 2.
Oh, here he is.
4, 5, 6. Six
Okay.
tables.
Here we go. That's the owner of Blackstone.
Oh, Steve,
Steve.
can we unmute him? See mute on his side.
Gotta do it on his side.
Hello.
Here he comes.
Hi,
Hi, how are you?
hello, are you the business owner for Blackstone?
Yes, I am.
Can you introduce yourself and tell us a little
Yes,
bit
hi,
about
my
your
name is
business?
Steve Kataches. I'm the owner from Blackstone Bar and Grill. I've been doing business at 3713 Riverdale Avenue for the last 11 years. About 8, maybe 7 or 8 of those years, I've had the outdoor dining for the sidewalk. We have about 13, maybe 14 seats. I don't know what more I could say about the outdoor dining, actually. But I really was hoping to get the license approved.
Okay. So you said 14 seats? 13.
Uh,
How many
I was
tables?
so I was approved for 14 seats. We really do not have 14 seats. I think we use 8, maybe 10, but we were approved originally for 14 through the city. The actual dimensions have not changed, and our setup has not changed. But we'd like to have it a little bit more comfortable, so we have it more open with bigger tables, bigger chairs. So we use about 10.
Because in your application, it looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tables.
Well, 12 chairs.
12 chairs?
Yes,
That's about right. That's what we use.
okay.
So are you gonna have 6 tables or?
I have currently about 6 or 8 tables, but we don't really use them. In all honesty, we use 6 chairs, maybe 8, but we are approved for 12 or 14 originally. I can't remember the exact diagram right now if it has 12. If you're telling me it has 12, it's probably 12, but we usually don't even use the 12. We usually use 6 to 8.
Okay, because yeah, we have the diagram on the screen. I don't know if you could see our screen. I think you're calling in, so maybe.
Oh yeah, I do see it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Perfect. I'm sorry, I'm at a family event. My nephew's getting married. Yeah. So I haven't really done a lot of Zoom meetings in my days. Please forgive me. So yeah, I do see the diagram, and that is correct, actually.
Any other question for this business? No, no? Okay.
Oh, wait a minute. This is for the So this is for the road, for the roadway,
No, this is a sidewalk.
Sidewalk.
or sidewalk.
Mm-hmm.
Up against their
Okay.
building.
Okay,
Yeah,
yes,
which
those
then
are the
it
12.
says
Yes, correct.
Firstly roadway at the
Yeah.
bottom. Weird. We already approved
Oh,
your
yeah.
roadway
Yeah,
application.
so this would.
Yes,
be-
you did. I do. I wasn't, I wasn't
March,
exactly
March
sure. I
12th.
was looking at
Yeah, that is-
the
that
actual
is-
diagram, and it was showing the chairs that you had right there. It looked like that was the roadway, the diagram that you just had. That's
Yeah,
why.
that diagram is for the roadway.
This is the roadway one.
So we'll have to
Yes.
clear that up with DOT. So, cause this is showing, I think,
Yeah,
this is your
the Arctic
restaurant.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right, it's not
Yeah.
showing the right thing here. Alright, we have to clear that up.
Well,
Okay.
like I said, I've had the sidewalk for many, many years. And the actual dimensions have not changed. The seating has not changed. Everything is pretty much the same. So,
Alright, so you're saying you have you're approved for 13, 14 seats or 6 to 8 tables, but you generally use 10 to 12 seats and
Correct.
6 tables.
correct.
So we do have in front of us the photo of the front.
Yeah. Good thing.
And on the original application, I had submitted the actual diagram. It must have got lost in the shuffle, but it is with DOT already. I know I'm currently using it only because it was already approved. They said we can actually use it. Even though I was approved for the roadway, I have not used it. I'm not even sure if I'm gonna use it for this year. Probably gonna save it for next year because the cost is really astronomical. But I am looking forward to at least having my sidewalk approved because that is extremely important to us. We depend on it in the summer months.
We can vote and just on the, you know,
Based on the photo.
knowing, based on the photo and knowing that we're voting on the sidewalk application.
Yeah,
If
the
you do
sidewalk,
have a
like,
diagram, Steve, if you don't mind sending it, that we
Yeah.
can just put it with the application would be great.
absolutely, I could do that. That's not a problem at all.
Is the committee comfortable doing that?
And to, Steve, just to make sure that we're all clear, so the diagram that you have for the sidewalk cafe matches or mirrors the images that we see of the sidewalk cafe in your application, correct? As it essentially, it mirrors what is existing right now on Riverdale Avenue.
Because we have a.
Correct.
photo.
Okay.
Correct. It's the original ones that have been there, that got approved by the city, by the community board aid for many, many years in the past. It has not changed at all.
Yes.
Motion to approve the sidewalk cafe with the proviso that the diagrams and plan cafe do match the existing setup and the pictures.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I
With that
will
being
have, when I'm in my office tomorrow, I will send you guys an actual copy of it.
Great, great. With that being said, are we comfortable to vote, committee?
Yes.
Any abstentions on this applicant? Any abstentions? Opposition at all? Approved. So we're approving Blackstone's sidewalk application with, that they will supply us with the correct diagram of their application for their sidewalk cafe so that we can present it to the full board
Yeah. Big diagram and page two, because the
and
page,
page two.
the page two refers to the street, the
Yeah.
roadside.
Yes.
If you bear with me just 1 second, I found one in my email.
So maybe it was just a paperwork glitch.
Well, we'll have to
It
double
has
check.
happened before.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for your.
Perfect. Farah, can I forward you that?
Yes,
Thank
please.
you.
Give me just 1 second. Farah, if you don't mind spelling your email?
It's the F as in Frank, Kule.
I got it. I got it. I got it. It popped up.
All right.
Okay. Okay,
It's perfect. We're good. We're gonna move on to the next applicant. Thank you so
Okay.
much. And we're
Okay.
gonna move on to Utah.
okay, so
anybody-
you should have the diagram. I don't know if you want to bring it up.
I think
Perfect.
now,
No.
we're good.
Yeah, we're gonna, thank you. We're gonna.
Thank
move
you
on to
so
the
much,
next
everybody. Again, my
welcome.
apologies for couldn't be there.
Okay, no problem.
Thank
Is
you. Take
anybody
care.
from the business, Yuka present? It's just.
I can
No?
hang up.
Yes,
Yes.
please. Thank you. Good night.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
Good night. So we have Yuka's application. The business is not here, but let's just review it. And I believe they submitted photos, and this is for a side street cafe.
Which was very well attended today.
Yes, that's.
No answer. They did say earlier they were joining. They are right next door.
Literally.
No, they happened to be, every table was taken.
They're busy tonight,
They're
right?
busy.
They're a good restaurant.
Now, the photos. I don't see any fire hydrants. I don't see any garbage cans. Looks like the full access on the sidewalk.
I don't know whether that originally was as wide as it is now, but I have no problem with it, but I always have to walk around as I come up the hill.
Cause that's the photo right there, Sylvia.
Yeah,
It just looks bigger to me.
they have, you
It's
know,
hard
just a tree planted in front. Oops, sorry.
I mean, I don't know if they say how many tables they have.
Does it got canceled?
Okay, thank you.
It's hard to tell how many tables.
Well,
Right here.
the pictures I took this morning didn't have that.
Yeah.
Can you see how many tables in the one?
I think this looks, yeah, this actually matches because there's a two-seater,
There's
two
10.
two-seaters near the building frontage, and then, looks like four.
It has four,
Yeah,
4 and 2. Yeah.
Do you have an extra set of pictures? I don't know what I just did.
No, you did send pictures.
There's 3 and 2.
yes, if
Oh, this is
you,
it
yeah,
right here.
yeah, so, and if you look from that to this angle here,
It's the same.
it's the same, it matches
It matches.
it matches their,
And it matches the, pictures that was taken by the office today.
3 and 2 and 3 and 2, right?
Yeah. Okay, any questions on the photos? I don't see any issue. No issues with bike racks or bus stops?
No.
Any
No.
issues with planters? Any potential safety issues.
There's no obstacles at all.
Keep the trash can out in the distance, so it's hard to tell guys from that restaurant to another.
Yeah, it's not there.
It's just from there,
Where?
right there.
Oh, yeah, I looked at that. That's our nose.
Okay.
That's not theirs.
It's not there.
Yeah, they had like 4 in a row.
No, it's not there.
Yeah.
Any more questions? Just based on the photos? Two sets? Even though the business is not present, are you okay with voting on its application? Ready?
Move to accept, given that this is, a continuation of an existing layout. With a small asterisk that the business does not represent themselves at the meeting. Or not.
Did you vote? Is it done?
Any oppositions, anybody against it, you're okay with voting? So it's approved. You said the application is approved. And, we will present them to the full board meeting. And, we'll move on our agenda.
I use it as a landmark. I called Siemens to get here, and, they're all, Spanish, speaking people, and they all know about Yucca.
Okay.
And they've either been there or they want to go there,
Correct.
so it's easy to get here.
All right, so just.
Are you gonna have like a community? I'm still here because I have some issues to bring
Yes, can
up.
you wait till she calls on you, please?
Oh, okay, I didn't know if you would throw.
Okay, just for unfinished business, just to let the committee and also for the public to know that on June 4th at 7 p.m. at Fort Independent Houses Community Center at 3350 Bailey Avenue, we will be having, an open forum to discuss Bailey Avenue, Van Cortlandt Park South to West 225th Street Corridor Safety Improvement Plan. We recognize that there is still a lot of questions and concerns, and we wanted to be able to have an open forum and for the DOT to hear what are the concerns from, the public, and for them to be able to make any additional changes so our community can be heard, and also to make sure that they're working in partners with us. And so this will be posted on the website, so it will be Wednesday, June 4th, 2025 at 7 p.m.
Okay, could I bring up unfinished business on that issue?
So that will be the open meeting for everybody for people
Yeah.
to express their
No,
concerns.
I just want to make a suggestion.
And there'll be flyers that will be distributed
Yeah,
to the community and to businesses. So we're asking, and it will be posted, and it will be posted on our
Yeah,
website. So we will be sending it to different, community leaders and to other committees so that, we'll be able to get the word out, and we'll have, a robust discussion on what are the next steps.
okay. Can I just add something?
Yes.
Unfortunately, for some reason, I was not able to speak on your resolution the other night. And what I wanted to bring up is that the way it was written was fine, however, more clarification would be, in order if somebody in 10 years looks at it, wouldn't know at all what you're talking about. The location of what you're talking about. Is that possible that one adds that information on a reso that already has been approved?
What information did you want to add?
That it was Van Cortlandt Park South, that it was Bailey Avenue with the slip lane, all of the things that were mentioned in the resolution are not really broken down so that the locations were clear if a person in 10 years looks at it.
We can add the presentation to it.
Attach it.
And then they
I
can see
would
it.
suggest that because usually I know that I passed a resolution in 2021 about the Harriet Tubman Freedom Trail, and I still had it on my computer. So I was able to just, when it came up again, I was just able to get it out of the computer, and it was used on the second round of that information. So I would think that it would be helpful in the future if everything was defined. I'm not saying that you should not have, done it. I'm just saying that I recommend that it be done for posterity.
Thank you. Any other feedback? So with that being said, we have no further unfinished business. Ms. Bailey, you had a question?
Yes. My problem is, it has to do with parking. I'm a pedestrian and I walk a lot in Kingsbridge Heights, basically to Marble Hill also. And I walk around the reservoir a lot. People are living in RVs on Golden Avenue. One of them has been there for 2 years. When you walk by their RV, when I walk by it, the theme song from Sanford and Son goes through my head because there is so much junk around their RV. They actually have a dog that lives, I don't know if they live there, but there's a dog that lives in there 24 hours a day. And also a lot of truckers. Truck companies are parking their long haul 18-wheelers there, and they actually take off with the cab and they just leave the trailers, like the two tier ones that transport a lot of cars back and forth to car dealerships, they're left there. And that's probably one of the reasons there's not parking spaces, because they take up a lot of room, but it's also the trash that they are generating and a lot of litter throughout there. They dump there. And the problem isn't where Lehman College is, because they have meters. I think part of the problems is there needs to be meters throughout the reservoir, because there's also a car wash where they use the public, the hydrant. They take up a lot of spaces and they leave the place trashed. So that's one of the issues. The other one is people are parking on sidewalks. Cannon Place, I have to walk in the street all the time, not only on the people parking on the sidewalks, but people rent out their driveways and the vehicles jut out into the sidewalks. So I have to walk in the street there. People park on the street on Heath Avenue. So there's not any
Heath Avenue where? Heath Avenue where?
between Fort Independence and the street that the step people were talking about. I'm not sure is it 196? I'm not sure what that street is. It's the one going south from Fort Independence. The long
So
street.
what I would recommend to do, I don't want to interrupt you, recommend to do, if you can email us the concerns to Community Board 8, and
We need pictures.
we need pictures,
And we need 311
311 complaints.
Well,
And
I
we
do
will-
put the community board, FIPA, who Margaret, the community, it was part of what they did, sent to Dinovitz. It's not any fair. How often can we express this? I think we're the stepchildren of the Community Board 8. We really shouldn't be in your board, period. Another problem is accessibility. I take Metro North, stop shaking your head. I take Metro North a lot. I carry a sewing machine. I almost fell down those steps.
From where? Which Metro North station?
Marble Hill. It's not handicap accessible, and it's too hard to get to any of the other ones. Sometimes I actually have to take the bus from either White Plains or Yonkers to get home because I can't get up and down those stairs.
Well, what we will do, I will also, speak to the safety committee about the issues with the parking. You're welcome to attend the, safety meeting and at the 50th precinct where concerns with parking and people that are doing illegal dumping and things of that sort. And I will also relay it, but you're welcome to attend that meeting and to be able to express your concerns. But, please put in writing, email the office, but you're also welcome to come to the safety meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Larry, your hand is up.
A quick question on that open forum on June 4th. Will that be visible on Zoom?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, that was my question. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Larry.
A quick one, a quick one. Okay, have a good day. Good night.
Okay. With that being said, there is no new business. Can we motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you, everybody for attending the traffic and transportation meeting, and we will see you on June the 4th. Thank you.